Hey, I'm Ben, and welcome to Flight School. When you're getting ready to embark on your flight training journey, you're probably feeling pretty excited and a lot bit nervous. At least I know I was. There is this big desire to prove yourself and become the best pilot you can be. But looking back at some of my flight training experiences, I can definitely say there are a few things I wish I would have done differently. So here are 7 things I wish I knew before starting flight school. I think the most obvious one is just showing up on time. It can definitely be more challenging than you might think when juggling work, classes, studying, and other obligations that you might have. To consistently show up on time over the long run is something you just have to do your best to prioritize. I can tell you sometimes it is nearly impossible to be on time to everything. One example that I can share is about the time I was flying back with an instructor on a cross-country flight, and due to the weather, we had to divert around it, which extended the length of our trip, and as a result, I showed up pretty late to class. However, if being late is the exception and not the norm for you, then you're probably going to be doing okay. What I regret most was not spending more time with my aviation buddies studying together. You can save a lot of time if you are studying with your fellow students who are as equally motivated as yourself to learn concepts faster and bounce ideas off of. The other nice side aspect is that you've built a community of friends who can help support each other and help each other succeed. It also allows you to share your feelings of frustration and happiness, and of course feeling overwhelmed at times too. I think if I had done a better job of this at the beginning, I would have had a much better flight training experience. Although it was during COVID, so building friendships in a community was much harder back then. I wish I would have known how much of a commitment flight training really is. There's a lot of additional studying and flight hours on top of taking college classes. I attended a Part 61 flight school that also coupled as a university offering degrees other than just aviation. I was taking aviation management at the time, which allowed me to work on getting my minor in business as well as get all my licenses and ratings. However, much of the structure was similar to a Part 141 flight school in that we have stage checks that we get graded for to see how well we're improving. At one point, the university I attended was a Part 141 flight school, which then later became a Part 61. If you don't quite understand the difference, let me quickly explain it. A Part 141 school has a much more structured curriculum and stage checks. The advantage is that you can get to the airlines faster with reduced minimum hour requirement. However, the drawbacks include several things. One is that if you fall behind in acquiring skills or knowledge, fail a stage check, you may not get many more attempts to make up for it. So it's easier to get dropped from the program, and sometimes you don't get reimbursed for your hefty investment. Also, due to its structure, it also can prevent you the flexibility needed to take required college classes. So in my opinion, Part 61 is the way to go, at least for me. Tip number 4. Try to request flight training times when you are at your best. Most of my flight training classes were early in the morning, starting at 7 a.m., 3, sometimes 4 days a week. The problem for me was feeling very tired and just not alert enough, which meant that learning skills and knowledge took way longer. Because while I was in college, I would often be up late studying, and then I had to wake up early. So I just felt constantly tired and exhausted, which then made me feel like I was always having to catch up. Later that year, I switched my schedule to starting at 10 a.m. for flight training, which helped me pick up things so much faster. Just a quick disclaimer, since I've been out of college, I've been prioritizing a good morning routine. So now I try to wake up at 5 a.m., hit the gym at 5:30, and then come back and get started with my day. I definitely have to say I feel much better, and I wish I would have been better at establishing a morning routine while I was in college. If you are blessed to be in a relationship while in flight school, I would tell you it is very helpful to communicate that you are going to be very busy and not always going to have time for each other. So understand that you might have to spend more time studying than going out on date nights. I wish I would have done a better job of communicating this and sticking to it while I was flight training. Something that can be a huge help though is having your girlfriend or significant other help you study by quizzing you on acronyms or need to know items. That way you can still spend time together but also be a little bit more productive. Drink plenty of water. I noticed that after many of my flights I was often dehydrated and slightly nauseous, so drinking more water before and after flights greatly helped me feel better. You obviously don't want to have to go to use the restroom while in the air, so make sure you drink water way in advance before your flight. Also, it's most helpful to rehydrate right after your flight. My last piece of advice for you guys, make physical fitness a priority. There are many studies that show students who maintain physical activity perform higher in their academics and studies. Also, as a pilot, much of your life is sedentary. So you need to make sure you are consistently staying active by either lifting weights and eating healthy and or exercising according to your preferences. There it is, guys. Those are my top pieces of advice for things that I wish I knew before starting flight school. Please leave a comment down below sharing your advice, experience, or if any of these things related with you. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you in the next video.